Welcome to our first substantial video in the KSA PDPL NDMO self-assessment. Most of our videos are aiming to be around a minute to 2 minutes, but this one will be a bit longer because this simply question one in the self-assessment guidance has a lot of material for us to get through. So the principles that this concentrates on are that you process for a specified purpose, that there you have a lawful basis, that the information is relevant and minimized, that you worry about how long you keep it, and that the data is accurate. Let's look at an example of what a specified purpose is. Let's imagine that you collect data to fulfill an online order. Very obviously, in order to fulfill this, you've got to share that with with billing, warehouse, with delivery people. You've got to share it with accounts to make sure that you get paid for it. And all of that falls within the specified purpose of collecting data to fulfill an online order. Let's look at an example where this doesn't work. You collect data to provide a pension. You share this with accounts to make sure that you get all of your contributions in, but then you take that data and you sell it to other financial services companies. That does not comply or align with collecting data to provide a pension, and so you are not processing for a specified purpose. Just like that, you need to go through all of your processing to make sure that what you're doing with it complies with the specified purpose. You need a lawful basis for all of your processing. One of the big ones under the PDPL is consent. So consent is where people freely and unambiguously agree to you doing something with their data, that you inform them. The bar here is quite high, but you can ask for their consent. Otherwise, you might have a contract or an agreement, and you have to process data in order to fulfill the contract or the agreement. Legitimate interest is where you're balancing the privacy of the individual versus your own as a data controller, as a company or an organization. Public interest can be used by public entities. Actual interest is where you are looking after the moral or material interests of an individual where it is difficult or impossible to communicate with them. And then lawful obligation, so that would be, for example, if there is a government entity that demands that you send them tax information or various other bits of information, there will be a law, and under that lawful obligation you will have to send people information. You need a lawful basis for all of your processing. Data has to be relevant and minimized. You have to collect the least possible data, and it has to be relevant to the purpose. So let's imagine you check into a hotel and they ask for your name and contact details. Well, it's very difficult to minimize your name and your contact details. They ask for date of birth. Do they need your date of birth? Probably not. What they're probably trying to establish is, are you over 18? And if that's what you're actually trying to work out, ask that question. Don't ask for a date of birth. You could ask for health and allergies information, but how about you just skip all of that and ask people a much simpler question. Do you want a hypoallergenic pillow? So I use a hypoallergenic pillow, although I don't actually have any allergies because I just think that they're cleaner. I'm not giving any health data out when I do that. Do you agree to read all the ingredients, all the food? So am I going to take responsibility for my own allergies, yes or no? That way, I'm looking after someone's health without asking for health data. So I'm keeping it relevant and minimized. How long do you keep information for? So there are two aspects to this. One, either the law tells you. So if you have a contract with someone under Saudi law, you need to keep enough data for 10 years to show that you did fulfill the contract. On the other side is need. What is the purpose behind it? So for example, let's go back to the health data. How long do I need to keep the health data on a hotel visitor? Well, probably I only need it for another month or so in case there's a complaint, and then I can get rid of it. I don't actually need to hang on to it for any longer. So need will drive your other retention. It's really important that information is accurate. Now, the way to do this is to check your input. So when you are putting in, for example, phone numbers, addresses, and things like that, double check with the individual. The other thing that you can do is you can test your output. So for example, if you have 100,000 phone numbers, why don't you check that they all have the right number of digits? That's a really, really simple, effective way of checking that your phone numbers are correct. And what you want to do is you want to look at your harms. So obviously if medical data is wrong, that can be extremely harmful. Then you need to think of ways of making sure that the data is correct. We run a boutique data protection service with 20 years of experience between me and Laura Palmariello, the other director. Get in touch if you have any questions. Thank you.